Welcome to the Max. We have been talking about doing a pantry tour for a long time. So we are going to go through our pantries, our larders, our freezers, and just kind of walk you through what it takes to feed a family of like 20.
And not only current feeding, but long-term storage as well.
And so we always talk about redundancy. So we're going to talk about all the ways that we're preserving food and how important it is standing in front of this cool canning shelf that Misty has filled up to the brim. But we'll talk about all the things that we do, but also show you some of the things that we buy because we can't grow our own toilet paper. The one thing we're big on is growing gardens. We've been doing gardens for about a decade now, but every year we get bigger and better and trying to learn from all the things that we've done in the garden from the years past. So now we're basically growing 12 months out of the year. And for the longest, we've always done freezer preservation, but we really went crazy this year. We have really embraced canning. So we're gonna talk about that first.
Canning was one thing that we tackled, and I have a variety of things. Pickles I've done for a long time. Hot water bath stuff we have done for a long time. But pressure canning was a skill that I wanted to learn. All of your low acidic foods have to be pressure canned. Y'all have seen us, we've shown y'all some of this before. This is our All-American pressure canner. I will not be teaching y'all how to pressure can. There's a million videos on that. But it is such a great option to have because you can take fresh produce from right out of the garden, put them in jars on the shelf, and they last for years. Taking things out of the freezer, I believe some of my peas and some of my okra. So like this, for example, is some of my okra. Some of it come right out of the garden this year. Some I had gallon bags that was taking up so much freezer space. With freezers, you depend on electricity. That was not an option. We wanted to depend so much on electricity. So I pulled those right out of the freezer and added them in jars. And that was another great option for us. And I'm just gonna briefly go through and show you what all we have. First is pickles. So these are just regular diced pickles. We have these put up. My girls love these. We add these to all kinds of things. Eat them with sandwiches. I have some that are like up to 2 and 3 years old. These are sweet pickles that are from 2017. We still have jars of them. We don't use sweet pickles a whole lot, but there is still nothing wrong with those pickles. I mentioned this fine chicken broth. This was another thing I pulled out of the freezer because I would have rather it been on my pantry than in my freezer because I know it can be kept safe. I can just literally pop the top off and use it whenever I need it. Fine chicken broth right there.
And this is from our chickens.
It is from our chickens. This was extra squash. I have just a few jars of squash this year because it did not do amazing this summer, so I only have a few jars of that. Store-bought carrots that were getting close to being expired, so I just popped them right in the canner. Can add these into any kind of soups. A tomato based sauce, which is, we use it for our spaghetti.
This shelf can literally hold up to 240 meals or 240 quarts of whatever we're growing.
We'll spread your joy to the ones who lost their...
Tons and tons of peas. These are all from our garden and they are absolutely beautiful. Potatoes, these are right out of the garden. I can make mashed potatoes out of these. I can pop these in any kind of soups, vegetables, stews, whatever. These are amazing to have. More peas, lima beans. This was a little bit of the extra squash I was telling you about. Behind it is corn. These are all jellies, jams for hot water bath. Plum come from our plum trees. Scooper nog, which is like a form of muscadine. Fruit come from down the road. Peaches, jelly. So all of these are like our jellies and jams, which we also use a lot of. Also have apple butter on this side and more beans.
One thing I know is that there should be. There is no one who has a heart as pure.
One of the other things that we will be adding to our pantry soon and very soon is canned meat. Now that is something because we are a family of 8 with 6 kids.
family of 8.
We feel it is a huge need to have. However, there's only so much time a day, so we will eventually get there, but that is another great option that we will be able to put on our cannon pantry. It's coming soon.
As we are raising so much meat, we were needing more room for freezers. So this allowed us to really put a lot of our vegetables up. It's not that it's gonna last any longer than our freezer would, but it puts a different element to where we're not depending on the grid. And don't get me wrong, we believe in redundancy, and we have a lot of freezers, and we're gonna show you those. This is really upping our game on preservation, dealing with our vegetables and our gardens.
Here is one element. I'm gonna dig into this and show you all this. I have been doing for a very long time, and this is probably still one of my most favorite ways because it is so simple and it is so easy and it is really cost effective. My Excalibur Dehydrator. Now I have I believe it's a 9 tray, and I can dehydrate so many things with this dehydrator. I want to show y'all some of the things that I have done, many of which we have consumed a long time ago, but I still do have a lot done and put back for us to use now and for later use.
Well, this is January, and we're filming this in January. A lot of food has already kind of left the shelves of gardens, and everybody's trying to get prepared for the next garden, so they don't have a lot of the food put up. That's how much food we have left between the canning and what Misty's going to show you with our herbs still growing. That is even in January that we're still doing a lot of this harvesting and a lot of this preserving. That's the importance that we have found, that growing 12 months out of the year, we have to with as many family members as we have.
Let's jump right into peppers. These I did not grind down because I like to add them to different things like hamburger meat, roast, whatever. I don't feel the need to grind those down. I just open my jar up and dump them right in. Rosemary, ginger root, kale. This jar was full just a few days ago. Colby, where did my kale go?
I use it.
He uses it a lot. Sage, this is a full jar of sage. Peppermint, spearmints, basil. Now this is my active cabinet. When I cook or I'm preparing any kind of food, this is where I come. Parsley, thyme, red pepper flakes. These were all red peppers. Sometimes if I had 1 or 2 green ones, I would just throw them in there and just grind them down, and Colby adds them to all kinds of stuff. This is a full quart jar. We grew all of these peppers ourselves. There's more red pepper flakes, oregano, and as you can see, the different colors through the different seasons. Isn't that pretty cool? This is dried raspberry leaves. Now this is not something I cook with. This is actually supposed to be in my medicinal cabinet, but we will get to those in a minute. This is Moringa Tarragon. Do add these to smoothies. These can be more like your teas and stuff.
And really, from our kitchen garden part of the garden, where it's really small, right off the back porch, we're harvesting all this.
Yep. Really cool thing to have. Dehydrator, again, it's probably one of my most favorite things. That is not all. If you want to see the rest of my dehydrated goods, we need to go back to the big shelf on the wall.
Close your eyes. Get some rest.
Onion powder.
And we've done a video on the onions. So if you're interested in that, we'll link that in the notes below.
Quart of basil. These are all peppers, so all of the rest of the things you see in here are all peppers.
And before we move on from the dehydrator, we're going to show you some of the medicinal things that Misty has grown in our gardens that has also went through the dehydration, and we've been able to utilize our pantry, because part of having a pantry is making sure we're not only covering our food, we're covering our security, we're also covering our medicinal needs. So we're going to talk about that right now.
As I go out in the back and gather, some of it sits on the counter and dries, some of it goes in the dehydrator. Hey, I'm sitting on the edge of the counter, so
this is safe.
Hopefully I don't fall off. This is another aspect of our pantry that is not food related. However, it is emergency related. We feel like if an emergency ever arises, yes, food is a need, water is a need, emergency medical supplies, medicine type things, wound care, we know is very smart to have. These are natural things that I have put aside. The echinacea, lavender here, dried raspberry leaves.
And this is also in our herb garden, so this is the medicinal side out of the herbs.
Right, so calendula. I've already made tinctures. These are the ones that I made. Oregano, rosemary, echinacea, full bottle of echinacea, and sage in the back. This is not like an educational video for y'all. We're just showing y'all what we have put up for emergency purposes. Bacteria cord. I have homeopathic medicines here.
By hundreds and thousands.
Yes, I do have a lot. Different homeopathic medicines. I will just show y'all the brands if you're familiar with this. These are kits that you can purchase. Those have been different presents and gifts and stuff throughout the year. Different brand. I'm just going to show y'all. Those are all things that are good to have in stock. I also have books. Education is key. And oh, here they are. I forgot that I put them up here. Different books, education books. You need to educate yourself on those things. Charcoal. This is good for not only us, but our animals as well. So we have a very large supply of activated charcoal. This is an emergency stash up here of just different supplements, vitamins, homeopathic stuff to use for COVID, flu, anything like that. We have those things up there as well.
Conventional medicine we have upstairs, not that we utilize a lot, but we are not stupid to it, so we do keep it. But this is some of the stuff like just normal cough syrup, cough drops, things like that we do keep down here.
This is probably my second favorite way to do food. The thing with canning, and I'm just gonna throw this right on out there, is it is a lot of prep work and it is very, very time consuming. It does destroy nutrients in your food. Although it is a great option to have, dehydrating and freeze drying has so many different benefits. One of the things that I've been trying to do is play around, because it is new to us, play around and see with it what we like and what we don't like. Raspberries, strawberries, and apples was my very first package, and it is done. My second batch, and we really liked the bananas and the apples. So guess what I did? I did another batch. So this one will be put up for long-term supply. And our goal, future goal with this is any extra meals that we have, or any meals that we are cooking, any extras, we will pop right over into the freeze dryer, freeze dry those so that we can put those up for emergency use with our emergency supplies.
So many times that we talk about growing our own food, and we don't want to discourage you in any way, because there's several things that we're still bulk buying, especially when it comes to a lot of the spices that we can't grow, a lot of the flours and sugars and so forth, things like that. So we have got a lot of pantries that's built up of just bulk food purchase. And I want to encourage you, if you're buying it in bulk does save money, but also it allows you to put it up for a long-term storage too.
Start up here in the top. This is all extra put back things that if the lights go out or we need some extra of whatever, yeast, snack crackers, we would eat these if we were about to die.
I don't even know about that.
Again, some of the backup things. More yeast, flour. We have poppy seeds. We have salt. And every now and then I will come in here and say, oh, I need more this.
When we talk about curing meat, you're needing a lot of those spices that we typically can't grow. So we grow dill, but we can't grow coriander. We can't grow mustard seeds. So a lot of those things we buy in bulk to then turn around and utilize towards the cured meats and things like that.
Down here is different things like popcorns, chips. I've got baking sodas, oils over here.
This is powders all in there too. Ketchup.
Right. Different things like ketchups. Vinegar is in the back. Kind of a small space, but we've got a lot in this small space, so we really utilized this very well, I feel like.
We're gonna take you upstairs, let you see a lot of the other things that we have in bulk buying, but also in freezer. So we have, of course, the fridge that you see here, slapped full.
Yes, if I open it, you might get food falling on you. So this is what we eat out of the most, obviously, because it's inside, but we do have several other freezers, so we'll take you to those.
First fridges in the garage that we come to is the milk fridge. We have the milk in here, and then also this is where, again, we keep a lot of our easy grab stuff. So Misty's got some chicken broth, some pecans, hamburger meat, blueberries, all that kind of stuff stays in those fridges. These tend to be the ones that we use the most. So leftovers come in here, milk comes in here, and the things that we can easily grab because it's right next to the kitchen door. This is where we keep a lot of our leftovers in this fridge. This is also our elderberry, our extra yogurt. You see yogurts here. We also have all our lard. That is all right here. Some tomato sauce that we have gotten. We keep, of course, our milk, cornmeal that we have down there. We keep it in the fridge just because it's just easy. If we're moving meat and we're having a meat plan for this week, we may take 10 to 15 pounds of meat or whatever we're eating for the week and put it in those fridges, and we'll work it out in the gray fridge, that is the frozen section of the milk fridge. Then we'll have leftovers in the black fridge. So again, it's always maneuvering out of those two refrigerators. So in these two freezers here, excuse the garage because it is a mess always, because we have 6 kids, guys, 6 kids. These two freezers have really the majority of soybeans, the rest of our edamame. We have some meat also. We have a ham, a monster ham, and a pork butt in this one, along with the rest of our corn on the cob. You see, again, this is January, and we've still got a lot of produce, a lot of vegetables from last spring garden. Let's go through our big meat freezers right now. So in meat freezers, we have, this is our frozen milk. So we have been freezing milk. We're supposed to start freeze drying some milk, but this is frozen milk that we've got. This is a colostrum milk that we keep for our animals. If you remember, like Mr. Jingles, how the pig did not take the piglet. It allows us to have this kind of milk and real quality colostrum from our dairy cows to be able to utilize towards our calves, our piglets, or anything that is needing a boost in vitamins and minerals, especially coming from a mom. We start putting that up again, especially as our dairy girls start freshening up. The rest of our chicken is all on this shelf. We've broken some down. Again, the rest of the 70. So these were the hams that we cured out in a few videos ago. Again, the smokehouse is a big part of what we're doing with meat curing. Again, pork chops and things from all our pigs that we've harvested, and some more steaks, things like that from the cows and the pigs that we raise. So that is 6 freezers downstairs and refrigerators downstairs. The reason we want to show you that is as we're having some in the freezer, we're actually growing more meat out in the field. So as we're needing, like for instance, Misty was just talking about a while ago, we are out of bacon and we're supposed to harvest this month. So we'll be harvesting another pig to cure out, because again, that is an ongoing thing, is making sure our freezers stay full with the meat that we raise.
Yep, and there's 2 freezers up here as well.
And y'all have seen this room before, so it does not have good lighting. It is messy. It is our workout / everything room.
But this summer we are coming in to actually build shelves on the wall so we can get a little bit more organization going on up here. But we have it, and it is what we consider to be our emergency pantry. And let's finish up in the freezers real quick. Oh, chicken.
More chicken.
Chicken. Top of this is chicken. Colby loaded the bottom, and I'm not digging all these chickens out because last time I did, I could not get the sucker closed.
It's ham and pulled pork and pork shoulders.
Okay, so there you have it. All this meat is amazing to have. Now, another summer project of mine is I will be taking probably all of the birds from this freezer, cutting the meat off and putting them in cans. You've seen all our freezers, you've seen all of our meats. If we are dependent on all of our meats to be by electricity and something was to happen through storms or whatever, and we were to lose all of that, you're talking about a major loss. But that's what's in this freezer, a lot of meat.
We have the generator. You've seen the generator. We'll tag that video down below too. But that generator would only take us about 2 to 3 weeks. We have about 3 to 4 years worth of meat in our fridge based on us eating chickens and steak and beef.
That's a lot of hard work too.
A lot of hard work. So we know we can't eat that.
And a lot of money.
In 2 weeks or 3 weeks. So the generators are great in value. Love it. It has been great for our farm. But ultimately, like Misty says, we're trying to get to a preservation with meat curing that's going to take us to the next level, just like it has with our vegetables, with the freeze dryer and also with the dehydrator and also the canner.
Freezer is ground beef. This is all farm. Sausage and patty sausage and link sausage as well in this freezer, and then all of the rest of that is ground beef. And I will be taking a lot of this too and doing pretty much the same thing, canning it like we said. It's great to have the freezer, but it goes back to what happens if there's no electricity. Then your food is going to ultimately ruin.
We have about 70 birds. We average about a bird a week dealing with our chicken. We have about 50 pounds of ground beef in here. We have about another 150 pounds worth of pork. The only thing we're lacking right now is simply our bacon. So we got to get our bacon up. But we have hams. We have enough meat to last us for a long time. And we try to change it up. So we have duck, we have lamb, we have deer, we have turkey, we have hams, we have chicken. We're always trying to change it up, but also try to grow enough animals to make sure that we're taking care of it. Next, it's going to be rabbits.
Yeah, well, little Miss Bunny Foo-Foo out there that's not having babies is going first. Okay, so anyway, a lot of other things to show you in here. I really am kind of embarrassed to show you this room until we can get it like organized like I want it. We have the room, and that's really all that matters. So
everybody has these rooms. Come on.
So you have seen a lot of our storage room. You've seen us dig up our sweet potatoes. So that's where they are up here. We come up here and get them down as we need them. 25 pounds of flour, 25 pounds of flour, 25 pounds of flour. Now this is not flour that we eat. This is strictly for extra that was picked up and purchased. I'll put it off to the side. Daily basis, we love the Azure Standards artesian, non-GMO organic flour. That's what we use, but if it's gonna be die or eat, hey, at least we have flour. This is just some stuff that you can pick up at Sam's and put up in the storage.
Talk about hygiene, how important that is too.
Yes, so well, you guys know that I make soap, and that's like one of my big, huge things. I always make extra. I still actually have extra downstairs that I made for us in bulk years ago that we're still using. So every batch matters. Hey, you like that, didn't you?
I did like that.
Every batch matters. So if it, just like we talked about with the medical supplies, you also need hygiene soap back here. And I do still have customers that'll say, hey, let me pick up, 2 or 3 bars here and there. I have that for my customers, but I have that for us as well.
Can't eat all the stuff on this shelf, but this is all our security elements. We've got a lot of kerosene, a lot of lamp oils for a lot of times if we need them, candles. We have toilet papers, waters. We also have some more bulk sugar down here. All this stuff is really stuff that we're having to purchase because we can't make our own toilet paper like we talked about.
Right. And not only that, I sent the kids up to come get some stuff and they
destroy.
You wonder, well, why do y'all have some paper products? Well, the thing about Mississippi is tornadoes and hurricanes, we can kind of like get it from both sides. When you don't have running water, one way to cut down on the need for using all of your supply water, which is here's some that we have back here, is by using paper products.
We don't use that again. That's kind of like a flour.
We don't. It's just emergency purposes only.
We really try to think through every little detail.
Right. So here is more brown sugar. And again, a lot of this is for curing your meats and stuff. So we have all that up here. Supplies here with I do have some like life straws. I'm not exactly sure what they're called. Things that we've seen over the years that we've picked up. All the stuff that you've seen that we've shown y'all, this was not an overnight deal. Talk to so many people and they'll watch the news or whatever, and then they'll get in this fear thing. Well, we've got to have a whole room full of supplies. That's not happening overnight. We buy one thing at a time and we put it up. We buy another thing at a time and then we put it up.
Here on top of the lighter pile too, just because we know at one point in time, there may be times that we can't get, cell phone service. We can't get communication. So we have a radio that is ran by hand, a crank radio. We also have a ham radio to run off old towers, like analog towers, like a true CB. So again, we're trying to think outside the box, not just food preservation, but understanding the value of taking care of your family when things may go bad. Hopefully none of that will happen, but we want to be ready. Part of being a homestead or being a prepper is understanding the value of a plan and to have a plan.
I want to show on this because I think this is hilarious. Said that it does not happen overnight. So don't be discouraged when you see our pantries and you're like,
I don't have any of that stuff.
Look, we started a long time ago and we built this stuff over years. So long ago that when we were still buying soap, and I've been making soap for like 6 years now.
Oh my gosh, yeah, that soap's probably a decade old.
It is very old. I'm like a date or expiration on. So that's how old this is. Spirit of saying if an emergency happens, this is what we're gonna do.
It's 5-gallon buckets. These are all food grade buckets that we purchase. All of these have salt. This has got salt in it. It has flour in it. Also has sugar in it. There's sugar on top. There's honey behind it. There's honey underneath it. So our goal is to also have...
So this is 3 5-gallon buckets.
That's 3 5-gallon buckets there of honey, and that's our sugar product that we mostly use.
This is wheat.
This is all wheat berries and wheat barley that we can turn around and harvest or replant. This is organic sugar. This is rice. I think this is beans. Again, more sugar, more flour, more salt. And I'm not sure what that bottom one is. It might be empty. Spring honey.
No, I don't know what that is.
Oh my gosh, it's heavy, whatever it is.
Yeah, then that must be spring honey.
It must be spring honey still. A lot of stuff that we keep in bulk too that we harvest, or if we go to a store and we see this big sale on rice, even though we're not eating that much rice, it is another safety element.
And these are food grade buckets too that you can pick up. Food grade buckets, they're pretty inexpensive.
But here's the cool thing. We buy all this stuff mostly off season, so when food grade buckets are hard to find, we usually have a ton of them. When cans are hard to find during canning season, we've bought some from years past, and we want to make sure we have enough of this. And people say there's not enough. We already had tons from years past. We wait to off season and buy a lot of that stuff here. So we have a lot of glassware for canning. We keep a lot of extra oil all down here. More hosing for our dairy pumps. We also have more cans down here, more landscaping staples. This is another milk pump. This is also liquor. Now, we don't drink liquor, but we use this for all our tinctures and all our medicinal benefits that Misty makes. Another cooktop stove that we can hook to propane tanks that we keep. More water storage all down here. Now, I want to show you one more thing with water before Misty takes back over. These items here, we are on a well. We believe in a well. We didn't want to be on local rural water or county water or city water, so we put in a well. But the risky thing about a well is if power goes out, how do you get your water up? Because the pump is no longer running. Other than using our generator, we have 2 hand pumps. We have one that we have tried, and then we bought the exact same thing and kept it in box to keep it safe. So we have 2 ways to put 150 foot of water to pump it out strictly by hand.
Conventional medicine that we have put back just over the years. Will some of this stuff expire? Yes, but again, if you're in a worst case scenario where you've got massive diarrhea
and things are all shutting down and you need something to take, I would rather take something that was expired versus die from dehydration from having massive diarrhea. So again, that's
the
just
best example you could come up with. I mean, we have allergy medicine, vitamins up here. We have headache medicine, and Misty talks about diarrhea.
It was just one of the first ones I seen. So anyway, there's a million examples that you could give. Okay, things that we did not show y'all that I have downstairs because it's in my bathroom, but I have a whole section dedicated to wound care, which is different gauze, bandages, neosporins, tape. Even have different types of skin glues to close wounds that would be large. So several different things like that downstairs that I have that would be dedicated more to like your wound care.
Tons of years worth of freeze-dried food that we have purchased from My Patriot Supply years and years and years ago. The importance of having this, if you're not having a freeze dryer or you're not growing your own gardens, you need to be investing in freeze-dried foods that last 20 and 30 and 40 years because it can save your life. Not only do we have all the cans, you see the top, we talked about that. These are just lids. You would consider, we're not hoarders, but this is stuff that we've bought over years and years and years. But this is just some of the lids that we have for the mason jars that we're going to be canning.
Patriot Supply, y'all saw us do a video. We actually have opened some of these things up for you guys. We have more like prepackaged food meals. These are 3 month, 3 month, 3 month, 3 month. All of these are 3 months. Tons of different things from like pancake mixes to stroganoff mixes.
And behind this was a 3-year kit that we had. All it needs is water and heat. And there you go, you've got a full meal. Calorie dense, very calorie dense for safety.
And these are very easy to store. And I'm also going to be honest with you, when you look at things like a freeze dryer, time, work, effort, plus buying the food, it can be very, very costly. So for someone who is on a budget, honestly, this is a stiller, killer, thrill of a deal that you get right here. Instant milk, chocolate milk, potato slices. Arm is in here and this is full.
one of about
This is
10 boxes
one
back
of
there.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 boxes of these. When push comes to shove and you need emergency supplies, you will be prepared, you will have it. This is a lot, but it can never be too much.
Preaching redundancy, over here in this corner we have a whole nother dehydrator that we used to use that we didn't throw away. Tons of Mylar bags that we can also use in the freeze dryer. So we really try to make sure we have a lot of whatever we're needing, even down to the glass jars. The glass jars that we have, things that we've already utilized, Misty can come up here and get for herbs and things like that. So we always want to make sure that we are having enough of what we need. Back at the canning, we have walked you through just about every kind of preservation that we have, and that's years and years and years of food, also medicines and medicinal things, herbs, hygienal things. What this year may have shown you, or last year, is that it's really good to be prepared and making sure that you are either buying in bulk, growing as much food as you can. We're growing 12 months out of the year, and it's never enough because we want to make sure we're always taking care of our family. That being said, we showed you a lot of things, but we also have a way bigger, or how would you say?
I would say we're just as prepared to defend ourselves as we are to feed ourselves.
We don't want to show you that, but just know we have it. So again, we want to talk about things like fishing, talk about our animals, livestock. We have bows and arrows. All that stuff matters. Make sure you're thinking outside the box and understanding that you need to have ways to harvest things. You need to be close to bodies of water. All that matters. But we want to show you our pantries today. We want to show you the value of growing a family and doing it the best way we know how.
God bless.
Happy homesteading, y'all.